Okay, so if you can see this, and if it flips through, this is perfect. So hello, here we are, Numerology 101. We're just gonna get into this and have some fun. So whoever's here, I see names of a few of you, and if you don't have StreamYard giving you permission, that's okay. Just tell me that you're here, or just comment as we go, because this is all about you having fun. So I want you. You know who I am, and if you don't, because you're somebody that's new that's watching this, this is me. This is me, and I even brought me and my wand with me. And I am a body resonance healer. And the fact that we're talking about music and vibration, this is my juice. But really, I am all about inspiring people to guide them to explore the freedom and the joy of living their human experience to the fullest. So I also believe that we have this beautiful capacity to tune into our natural rhythm to deepen our connection to nature and the cosmos. For me, that has been using numerology. What is it? Well, it's all about this guy. This is modern numerology that I'm going to speak of. And when I say modern, it is a Western style of numerology, and it is attributed to Pythagoras, this beautiful Greek man who was a philosopher in mathematics, in astronomy, and in the theory of music. He believed in the harmony of the spheres, which maintains that the planets and the stars and everything is moving in accordance to mathematical equations, which correspond to musical notes, and they produce this inaudible symphony that's going on. Now, there are many that have since come to discover and to prove lots about sound, sounds of creation, the universe, and all of that. I simply am using numerology based on Pythagoras and his teachings. So I'm going to ask you first before we get started, and you can comment here. Do you see numbers? Do you use numbers? Or is it all Greek like Pythagoras, right? Because I want to know. I want to know who I'm talking to. So that, and if you're just going to watch this afterwards, because it's here in our community, definitely comment so that I can play and I can understand where you're at with this. So anyone? And if there's a delayed, does anyone see numbers? Has anyone used numbers? It's all Greek to one in the room. This is fabulous because it was all Greek to me at one time too. And I can make this fun. So there's a yes, and there's a little Greek and a little bit shit that someone sees them. So this is good. And there's just a few of you watching tonight. So this is fabulous. And again, for those of you that are going to watch replay, let's get into this. So what all about is it? Oh, and my slide looks a little funky, but here we go. What is it? Numerology ultimately is around it's the meaning of numbers and how they're designed to translate the blueprint of your soul to really reveal aspects of your spiritual contract while you're here in this world, right? And it's based on the premise that your birth date actually carries messages that describe the characteristics about you and your personality. Now, if you're anything and you've been following Ismail and I, your personality and your characteristics and all of these things can be changed, and yet there is still something in the essence of numbers that'll bring you to tune into the pieces of your personality, the pieces of your characteristics that you do want to maintain and that you do want to strengthen, right? There's this magic that offers you to really, like I said, look at the opportunities and the challenges that you're here to unravel. Because when we do that, again, we tune in more and more to who we really are, right? And that's when we learn that how we think and we act and we feel and we experience life is really in our DNA. And because we're part of the cosmos, it's really just streaming, and we get this sense of vibration that's truly us. And when we play it well, we really want to, vibrate in that, okay? So that's what numerology is. And then what we're going to do tonight is just tap in a little bit to your own personal vibe to thrive, because ultimately we want to continue to raise our vibration and do that in a space which is really, again, in tune with who we are. So I'm going to talk to you about, you're going to need a pen and a paper because you're going to do a little bit of your own math. So we're going to talk about 2 key numbers of your birth date, we're going to talk about the vibration of the numbers 1 through 9. And how I do that is we're going to use a language, right? So that you can look at words to vibrate to numbers, so that as you learn this, you can get into it. We're going to talk about master numbers. When I say that, there's a lot of people out there, and if you're one of them, that you've used angel numbers or you've heard of it, and these master numbers that people have, or you see 1111 or 222, and you're like, I'm not sure what that is. Or you are sure what it is because you've been following somebody else. That's great. I'm going to give you my perspective and how to maybe just lighten it up a little bit so it really expresses more and more of who you are. Okay. So here we go. Because we're talking harmony and resonance, I want to know that you are in that space first of all, so that we really can tap into the words, because it's the words that are going to resonate to you. And through this whole process and all of numerology, you're really invited to, it's going to reveal something. You want to reflect on it, and you might want to repeat it. So if you're ready, because someone said they're definitely ready, let's just do a little quick breathing exercise. Just fill that belly up big and let it out. And if you're somebody that, you know what, you want to just like squeeze all of you, because I find sometimes when you just squeeze all of you up and just let it all out, right? You can relax into it. Because what you're doing is you're getting into the sensations. Numbers and this harmonics is going to have a sensation in you and a feeling. And that's the feeling. Because again, challenges, opportunities, that's a contraction, which is a challenge often. Or, you know what, this opportunity, it's going to expand you. So that's what we're looking for. So we're ready. I'm ready. I know you're ready over there. So let's go. Number 1, this is the easy one, which is, what's the day of your birth? Okay. Key number 1, this code, the day of birth that you were born, right? It's going to give you an instant insight into your natural disposition, your way of being, your tendencies, and who you are on a day-to-day, moment-by-moment basis. And again, what you want to do is, if you're a double digit, so I'm a double digit, you want to add those numbers and bring it down to a single digit. Because in the universe and in numbers, there's really only 1 to 9 numbers. And if you don't believe that, you can, or you want to understand more of it, I should say, go into the Fibonacci codes and sequences, and you can get all kinds of juicy stuff, or ask me afterwards and I can direct you to a few places. However, the entire universe really runs under and through 9 numbers. So there's this sequence going on all the time, and everything comes into 9, right? So 1 through 9 is really what we're going to hone in on. So if you do have a double digit, definitely share. So I know that you're a double digit. I'm just going to ask you, let's bring it down to 1 single digit, right? Because as much as you have 2, you're going to read the 2 and also bring it down to the core, because in that core essence is really where you are. So we've got a 4, and I know there's a few of you. So your double digit creates another. So I'm a 28, so a 10, so a 1. Yay! Exactly. Easy math, easy button.
That was easy.
See? Just like that. It's all music. Oh, Giuliano is here as well, are you? This is fabulous. And I know, Giuliano, I'm fabulous if you're here, because I know you and I have played with numbers. So somebody's a 1, 1's a 1, 2 people are a 1. I am a 1. How fun. There's a 4. Giuliano is a 3, if anyone else. So I've got a few numbers here, which is fun. So now we're going to look at what that means. So I know this next slide, these next couple slides are big. There's lots of information because there's 9 numbers. What I chose to do is make it a little more succinct, give you sort of 3 or 4 words that resonate, knowing it's a lot, but I really want to ask you, you're here for you. Okay. So hone into you right now. Let's just play you for a minute, because again, this is your natural disposition, right? And again, we're going to go into the challenge and the opportunity of it so that you see it from both sides, and to really this day-to-day, moment-to-moment. So look at it from that perspective, just to see, again, what's going to come up when you read it. I'll read a few of them. But you want to look at this, and here right now, we are in the high vibration of these numbers, right? So for those of you that are 1s, you're original. You have this primal impulse that wants to come through you on a moment by moment, or when you're in your zone, it's a moment to moment thing, that you have this individual pursuit that's in you, and you're innovative, right? Now we had a 4. Someone's very practical. They're self-disciplined, unconventional, and tolerant. Now, again, these are only a few expressions of the words, but I want to ask you, as you read these words, are you feeling a sense of, yeah, that's me, or, oh, I'm not so great at that, but I'd like to be that, right? What's just coming up? And again, this is for you, but play with it in that sense of, okay, yeah, there's something there, right? So again, for you, because this is the high note, right? And again, like music, we've got a high note, a low note. The symphony that we play, we are going to play that in what we're going to call more of a low vibe. I put the gray behind there because there's people that work in the shadow side of things. I don't look at it as a shadow. I look at it as it's a symphony, right? We've got a lower vibration, a higher vibration. And when we learn that if our lower vibrations, so I'm going to be speaking while you're looking at your own number here. So lower ones, if you're in a space of low confidence, if you're resentful, if you feel self-centered, right? Or indecisive, those things can bring you to a lower space. Now, someone says different for me, but interested. So I'm not exactly sure what I said, what that means, because you were one of the people that has a 2 and an 8. So what happens is you want to look at the 2 and the 8. There's pieces in that you're those numbers as well. Those are highlights of who you are, except it still anchors down to 1. And again, numbers are there's so much to learn, and what I wanted to do is bring it into something that gives you this sense and this feeling that, again, when you're in a low vibration or you're feeling an emotion, right? Because this is your soul's blueprint. We want to get into how do you emote, right? How do you work through these things and these challenges and these opportunities that come across your path, but how do you play with that, right? So 2 of them totally, a third not so much. So you're looking at, you told me that you were a 4. So I'm not sure what that means, but again, whatever that means for you, or 2 of the pieces in there. So if that's what that is, great. Again, I could give you, I had a laundry list. I'm like, okay, I gotta chunk this down, right? Because I didn't know how many people were going to show up, and we can talk about this for a while, but really look at it. And after, if you want me to give you more, we'll give you more words to really sit in that. So this again is that birth number that you were given, right? Day of birth, so that you're like, okay, that's something in me that I want to resonate to, because this is a natural tendency in me. Look at it from that perspective, and you might find like, oh, right? Or I want it, maybe the real piece is for our spiritual contract, right? To come into more fruition, we want to hone in a little bit more on that number in our day-to-day approaches. Okay. So again, we're starting at basics because there's people that may not know how to spin this all around, and we're going to talk about that too. Okay. So I don't know about primal impulse, individual pursuit, and innovative, but maybe. So that's okay. 1 is an innovator, or there's a tendency in you to be innovative, and you maybe don't even know that. You're maybe somebody who, as a 1, you look at life that you want to absorb information and take things in and really come from that inquisitive, curious space, which a 3 is curious. However, 1 is that first number. It's about new beginnings. So maybe that resonates a little bit more for you. And again, just play with it as we go. So now, again, looking at it, and I guess I probably talked a little bit around this already. However, if you look at the balancing, so I just took the 2, great, that does, yay. I took the 2, so the top and the bottom, meaning the upper vibration, the lower vibration, and I did it as a 9, not knowing who was here. So the fun part is, right, a 2, it's a balancing number, right? 2 is actually the number of divinity also, that you're an equal to me. So they have a desire for peace. They have a receptivity about them, right? Or that's where they're honing on a day-to-day that allows them to just feel a little bit more in alignment through their day-to-day. If they come from a space of codependency, however, or they feel inadequate, that's going to bring them down. So it's always in that, because again, there's a rhythm that we're coming to, right? So when we look at that as a natural disposition that we want to move through in our day, or just as a space which is, you know what? Why am I feeling like this? Okay, I know what my number is. How do I turn this around? You know what? Am I being a little codependent here, right? Am I feeling a sense of inadequacy? And again, language is language, because as you've heard from Yasmin before, use the thesaurus, right? If there's a different word that comes up, it's just, where does that word potentially expand and contract? And when I say this, it is in the moment by moment, right? I'm not asking you to sit in this space of, I am a 4. I am always a 4. I will always be a 4. That's not it at all. It's in a moment by moment, right? When you use the numbers, because this is a tool, right? Like anything else, it's one of those toolkit things. And you know what? I never even shared with you how I came about numerology. So I'll just give you a little quick one, which is, it was when I was really, really sick. I had heard about numerology, but I was literally so depleted. And it was like, I got to start finding tools. And this one, when I heard that it was about my soul blueprint, I'm like, oh my God, I was so sucked out of my essence that I was like, okay, something in this is going to get my soul back to a place of, what is it? What's going to give me some more of my juice? What's going to give me something that I feel connected to who I am? That's how I really started to delve in the numbers. Well, I've played with the numbers now for 15 years, right? So I can look at other people, because there's more to this than what I'm sharing. It's just, now you start to be like, oh, okay. And then when you see a number, or you see numbers, which I'm going to share you a little bit, when you see that, it's like, oh my gosh, I know where I'm vibrating at, right? It's what did you just think about before that? And where are you thinking, or where do you want to be? Okay. So there's more to you. And here's where we're getting. So key number 2, you have a life purpose number that's embedded right in your birth date. Okay. So this number 2, and we're going to get the math. So here's where you're going to need some math. This is about this frequency that reveals this yearning you have, or a need. I don't like to use a need, but more of a yearning to express yourself. Okay. It's actually one of the main reasons you're here, to be part of the symphony of the universe, because we all, like a symphony, it's not just one number, right? We're even flatlined, right? We want to use all these numbers. It's just, in you are numbers that can help you express. And it's also where you find these lessons, right? And the unique design that you are. Okay. So get your pen and paper, because this is where you're going to do the math. So to find your life purpose number, you want to take your month, your day, and it looks funny on my screen, but I don't know if that's on my screen or your screen. So I'm hoping you can understand this. Basically, I use somebody born March 24th, 1982. You're going to take everything down to a single digit, add it up, come up to what it is, like we already did with somebody. Suzanne, you had said you were 28, you added it. Now use your entire thing. So when you get that, just drop in what you've got. What you've got. I want to know. I want to know, because you want to know. I know you want to know. So, and because it's your life purpose. Anybody? Are you still with me? I'm with you. And I know it takes a minute to, okay, I have to redo the math, because was that a 9 and an 8? Is 8 and 9 really 17 today when I do this? Yeah, it is. Anybody? Oh, we've got a 6. We've got an 8. Nice. And if I'll wait a second for the other one that I know was on, there was another 2. And if not, because you're slower at math, that's cool. I'm good with that. I have, and a 2. Yay! Okay. So at least I know the 3 of you are here. I see that there's 3 people. And if there's anybody else watching that you're not answering this because you're not in the community, well, or you're going to watch it on replay, I should say, tell me what it is, because then I can help you through this. we're going to use the same one. What I should have done now in hindsight is give you a whole nother set of words, but I just used the same ones as to not confuse the fact that we want to go in now from finding your life purpose. So now go to the other number, right, that you've chosen here. And again, this is the high vibe of this piece of who you are that, you know what, is really going to help you get into more of that essence, right? So if we go, can I go back? So if we look at it, right? If you go back to it being that, because I forgot to number my slides, of course. Oh no, slide 11 it says, so I can probably find where I'm at here. Okay, so again, this is this yearning that you have to express. So go back to here, and really what you want to do is when you look at it, is this feeling like when you're on a high note, right? And again, it's our soul, it's our emotions. It's when we kind of fall off the path, shall we say, a little bit, and we want to just pull ourselves back. I'm going to flip to the low vibe for a second, just so you find your other one and you kind of can feel into that part of the path. Now, this part of the numbers, okay, somebody got us so much. That's so good. I'm glad that that's good. This is also these natural talents and abilities that really make you tick, right? So for 6, 8, and 2, are you ticking over there? Are you getting all juicy? Oh my God, you got 100%. So that means you like numbers. You don't even know anything yet. This is so fun. Okay. Well, not that you don't know numbers, you feel them. So this is so good. Now, what about, because I'm sitting on the low vibe screen, and Suzanne, when you get yours and feel 2 like, or you want me to give you a little bit more of what that is, let's talk, just so I know that where you're at, because 2 is a beautiful, interesting number. Again, we're in, and I use it because I also look at the year, right? Because the year that we're in right now is 2022. That's a whole lot of 2s. That's really all about the low or high, and it's right on. The low or high. I think I'm definitely a 2. So 2s, there's something beautiful. And again, this year, 2022, right? It's the divinity. Everybody's got this sense of divinity. There's a piece that wants to happen this year, right? When you add all those numbers up in and of itself, this year, because if you've heard me in my astrology reports, and sometimes I layer in numerology, it all pulls itself to a 6. Well, this year is all about nurturing ourselves, having more compassion for the other, right? So when you start to see the numbers and see the language and some words that really help to tune into what is expressing and how you can really bring out your natural essence, well, that's where we really want to play with this and look at it from a place of, oh, sad you missed the first half, you fell asleep, happy to be here now. I don't know who that is, but that's okay. And somebody so who are you that fell asleep? And that's okay. Could I know who it is? Because if I have a name, it just means that I don't have your name. It just means that you don't have StreamYard permission, which is fine. And we can talk. And if you don't want me to know who it is, it's fine too. Because I'm okay to do that. So, Alicia, hi. Okay, so perfect. So, Alicia, this is great. Oh, you did miss. So, you're going to watch a bit of the replay so that we know where we are. I guess now that you're here, what we'll do is, because I think we can just maybe do a quick back. We'll just go really back sort of quick to give you this sense. Right now, what we're working on is one of the 2 numbers, and we're here right now. There's only a few of us, and I think they'll be curious because they know you, and this will help. And you're someone that has seen angel numbers or work with numbers, so this will help just give a little bit more as to where we're headed. What we just worked on is, it's all about, numerology is all about your own birth code, right? You have a birth code, your soul blueprint, and how you can really work on your spiritual contract. Okay. So when we look at this life purpose number that everyone just did, it's really revealing this yearning that you have to express yourself, right? So it's kind of the main reason that you're part of this whole symphony. And it's where some of your main lessons lie. So what you want to do is add up your birth date, right? The month, the day, the year, and bring it to a single digit. So when you do that, let me know what the number is. And I'm going to flip to the screens just to show everyone again. as much as they've seen it. And you can go back to the replay because I want you to go back to the first number and bring yourself here. It's just to bring everything down to that single digit, because there's really only 9 numbers of the universe that we're playing with. So, oh, you got the 2, which is a 2. So there's another 2 here. So you are a 2. So in your high note, I'll call it, your quest, your yearning is to be balanced, right? It's this desire for peace and a patience and a receptivity. I used words because words have a vibration as well, and it's the language that we understand. We did a little exercise of where you're expanded and contracted in that. So that resonance to be in a place of balance is something that's in you. Now you also have an 11, and we're going to get into master numbers, right? So that's on the high note. On the low note, and what people would say is a shadow. I don't look at it as a shadow, right? Yes, Melody, and I don't. It looks at, you know what? You have this, you're a symphony, right? You're going to have days that are up and down. It's now as the 2, where are you being codependent? Where are you potentially being secretive, right? Have low self-esteem, you feel inadequate. And again, you guys that are here, you know that it's a relationship with yourself. This relationship with yourself is your soul. It's your soul, and it's your spiritual contract. It's because when you hone in on that, that is where you're going to be able to be a greater part of the symphony of the relationships that are around you. So be honest. And I don't want to move too quickly through Alicia, because you're here. So where does that feel for you, right? Back to slide 1, that you have this yearning to express a sense of balance and peace. You know, and where do you potentially have codependency? And again, these are just words that I chose. Always use the thesaurus, right? So if it feels spot on, that's great. What I'm going to ask is, I want everybody to be honest with me for just a second, okay? Because this was all about where you've fallen off the path, right? And again, this is about your own unique purpose, where you're magnetically drawn to certain things. And when you use these, you can't see the low vibration of the 6, because there's 3 words that are under my image. Oh, what? Let me go back. Can I see what they're? Oh my God, you can't see it because of my head. Hold on, I'll have to see what I put there so that you see. Oh, you still can't see it because of my head. And I can't move the head. So hold on, exit the full screen. So 6 is really around, are you in the low vibe? I can see. Oh, did you see it? Oh, you saw it. You saw it, but I didn't see it. So did you read that fast enough, or what happened there? Right? If you still need clarity, ask me for clarity. But there's an interference. Think of it like a smothering mother, right? Because 6 is the nurturing number. It's a compassion number. Oh, it's on the next slide. Okay. So, oh, because I chose 6. Oh my God, how fun. There you go. So who knew? Obviously. So there you go. It is on the slide. I just chose it again, like I did with the other one, to say, if you are a 6, for someone that's here 6, right? This is this piece of where you're drawn to your unique purpose, right? This is a life purpose. This is something that you can use to balance yourself out. Now, I'm going to ask everyone to be honest. Who is doing this on the side for someone else in the family or a friend, or you're looking at someone else to be like, oh my God, now I know why they are that they are? Anybody? Did anybody do that? Did anybody want to do that? Or did you actually heed my advice and say, I'm just going to do this for me? You can be honest. And if you didn't, oh my God, you should. And if you did, why did you? No, I'm kidding. So there's this, oh my God, because again, I'm going to go back to when I started to use it is when I was sick, right? And that's when it was like, okay, I was still in that blame game, and I started to, oh my God, right? I was still in that space because I wasn't where I am now. And then once I did go through the healing, and then I started to be like, oh my God, now I can look at your name. I can look at just, that's why I say to people, I'm like, give me your birthday. Just give me the day you were born. Because I know that there's an intrinsic essence there. Now I read energy, so it's a little different, but I can still play with it. And that's why I can just talk to somebody and be like, oh my God, give me your name. Because your name has its own vibration, like your own name, Alicia, right? Suzanne, you have a vibration in that. So you did it for yourself. Yay. Extra bonus points for you. I'm just telling you what can happen when you get addicted to the numbers in the wrong way. So who wanted to know this? Is 0 a number? Now, again, this may be for more of those in you on the replay. and not. Who wants to know? Is zero a number? Is zero a number? Does anybody wonder of this? Because I said there's 9 numbers of the universe, and yet zero rolls around all over the place, right? So let me tell you, it is. It's just, it's a different number. It is known as the God number. So anything that has a zero, right? It is, so the 0 point, when you have that 0 attached to and affiliated with your own number, that is a place to, that is where it really hones into what you think about, you create. You are creating in that space. And when you're someone that can naturally lose track of time in that 0, right? Because you already have it, and which is why I got sick. Because again, I'm not here to, I'm like, I get it. This is when, or you're someone that, you know what, you feel empty, you're outside of your body, and you haven't figured out any part of your potential. You can get so sucked in that 0 that it really becomes that tendency to live on the lower notes. And for anyone that has been in a space of health, when we live on the lower notes, we're creating in that space. Okay. Now, the beauty is we can turn that around because, like I showed you on the earlier slides, when you know your high note, amplify that. When you're in your good zone, when you are a 2 and you are in that space of peace and receptivity, amplify it with a 0, right? Which is what 2022 is about. All of the 2000s are an amplification of peace, right? So the whole of the 2000s is going to give us that, right? If you want to take it that to that sense, to that extreme. I use extreme because it's beautiful. It is the divine sparkle. It's where we expand and we empower ourselves, right? So that's what the 0 is, because a lot of people don't understand how 0 fits in it. So that's where it is. So now master numbers. Those of you that had master numbers, and those of you that see the numbers or angel numbers, right? Because we hear 1111 and all these things. Let's look at this. I only gave you 4 of them. However, again, if your birthday resonates and brings it down, or your life purpose or your destiny number, we didn't get into the destiny number. It's just, if you're an 11, right? I said bring it down to 2, because your first zone is, that's the number of the psychic master, right? It's urging you to live in a space of supreme balance, right? You're always, 1 to me is like 2 pillars. You're always walking through that. And it's wanting you to unite the active and the passive part of you so that you are fully present in the moment. Now, we go down to 22, 33, 44, whatever you can read there. Now, when you look at it, there's a depth in that really, there are people that be like, I have a master number and I want to be a master, right? Well, you know what? You have an intrinsic, you need to master you. That's a big piece of this soul contract, is to master you. When you can do that and you align to it, then your divine, your life purpose, first of all, and your divine and destiny number can come out, and you can really express that in a space. I want to use it and go to your own month of birth, right? So anybody that was born October, November, December, right? You, or if you're a 10, you want to live in balance. You have 1, so there's an impulse in you, right? And it's 0. You are, and look at why Libra is the number of 10, that balance, right? Well, 11, if you're November, right? You're part of your innate quest, your innate life is to live in a sense of balance. You're always being drawn to go through these pillars, to live in the present. And it's not to say, oh, well, they're an 11, so that's better, and I'm a 12, I'm December, and I'm a 1, 2. What does that mean? Well, 12 is the number of the forever student, right? So we're always learning. It's just, when we have those numbers and we play with them from that sense of, okay, I want to become more and more into me, we start to look at all of our numbers, right? Not, then you look at the year you were born, right? It says itself. I was born in 1970. Well, that comes down to an 8. Okay, well, leadership. Great. But am I leading? Am I leading in the right way? Right? Because again, we're a symphony. We're vibrating with people all the time. It's just, how do we hone into and use the numbers? So then if you're someone, because I know that there's some people that have seen numbers often, or you see angel numbers or repeat numbers, because I wanted to learn how to use the numbers, right? Use the numbers to my advantage. So at first, and I think I actually might even have this on this slide, right? Which is, how did I use it to motivate myself and inspire me, right? Because I would see what they would call angel numbers. I would see 111, 222, and I'm like, oh my God, yay, I've been picked, right? I see the numbers. Again, that was early on. Now I know how to resonate with them. It's just, I hear out there so much. And again, there's different things that we resonate to all the time. We want to keep bringing ourselves up into that symphony of play that's going on. So it's looking at it to really say, okay, if I see angel numbers, or I want to play with the numbers, how do I do that? You can set yourself up for it. You can ask your guides, you can ask the universe, hey, I want to see more numbers. Know, though, that it's learning what the numbers are. So I can give you the slides to say, oh my gosh, that's part of what those numbers resonate to, right? So that when you see that, and I'll just use when I started to play with it, right? I would just be like, okay, where do I see numbers often? And you have to ask yourself, where do you see numbers? If you're somebody that drives or you're on the bus and you see numbers go by, because your phone number has a number, everything has a number. But I would play with license plates. Or just if you've been thinking something, all of a sudden you're like, why do I see that number? Or the clock when you wake up, right? All of those things have a numeric resonance in them. And it's like, I would start to look at it from, okay, let's say I saw 362, right? It's like, okay, really, Donna? But I'm like, yeah, it happens all the time. This is great. So wherever that is, you want to start to look at what are those in their individual numeric and then combined, right? When we add them up. So if we use 362, right? Again, you want to, okay, somebody's saying 111, 222. So we'll talk about that. I'm gonna talk about that. I'm gonna finish the 362 here for a second. When you see numbers, because let's say you did these 362, 362, 362, or you're someone that pulls cards and you see those numbers, often what happens is you want to look at, well, what's the high vibration of that? And was I in that zone, or was I in the low side of it? So from a 362, 3 is like a joy and curiosity number, right? 6 is the nurturing and the compassion number. And it's also that 2, which is the balance and the patience, which all comes into an 11, right? All of that added up is 11, right? Now I would do quick math because, again, I play with the numbers, right? I do this from oh my gosh, yay, right? Or it's like, oh, right? Because I'm not in that resonance. If I'm not in that resonance and that number shows up, it's like, okay, why? Because again, back to the 362, was I feeling in a space? Was I distracted about something, right? Was I saying something that kept being like, hello, I'm going to show you this number because you are distracted. You're actually resisting something. You're interfering with something. That's the 6, or you're feeling inadequate about this. And then again, the 11, are you actually wanting to walk through that portal? So I'm going to use the perfect example to the 111. I'm not sure what you heard about 111, and it's beautiful. I'm just going to give you another space, or you can share with me here what you've heard. When we look at 11 as that portal, you got to remember you're the one in the portal, right? So 111 is you. It's asking you to walk in the portal of what is that full just true alignment, right? Is your active and your passive. Are you moving forward in what you're doing in that sense of peace, right? It's still a 2. 2 ones is 2, but are you walking in it as an amplification of peace, as a part of peace of who you truly are, right? And are you doing it in your day to day? Because if you keep waking up to that number, and I'll just use it, let's say you wake up to 111 all the time. You know what? There's something that you might want to ask yourself around, what do I want to hone in a little bit more, right? How do I want to really listen more, right? Listen more to your inner voice. And again, the language, I used words because words have the vibration. That's how we communicate, right? And it's in that when you can really start to tap in more to that sensations that you feel, right? And that resonance. So there's nothing bad about any of it. It's just like, oh my gosh, Or it's like, oh my God, I'm so tapped in, tuned in. I'm like turned on to all of this and I feel so juicy. Because when that's it, it's like, oh my God, yes, 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 yes. Right. So, and the more that you play with it, you'll know, right? Because you'll be like, yes, whatever I was doing. Right. It's just, again, 33. I'm going to point at 33 here for a second. 33 is known as the code, right? It's the code. It's the divine code, the builder. It's a builder of compassion, right? And when we see that number, it is really about the embodiment of unconditional love. And not that your own number, right? Because we have the capacity, and I know each of you that's watching it, you may be early on and moving through it, but you have the capacity to be all of this, right? This is just, where do you resonate at? Okay. So then we've got the fact that numbers are everywhere, right? Your name says something, and that's the piece. There's a little nugget in all of that. What I want to do is, you've got numbers and they all fit somewhere in these 9, because this is this triad. Okay. When you go back to how the numbers all come about and how do they all work, there's a mind triad, there's a manifestation triad, and there's a self-expression triad. So where are your numbers? And most people don't have them fit in all 3. If you do, and again, we haven't even gotten into all of them, but as you keep going through your name, you're going to find out where you fit. But right now, with the numbers that you have honed in on, are you sitting in a mind triad, an expression, or a manifestation triad? So just know where that is right now. I'm going to flip to the next slide to just show you what those mean. So have you figured that out? Just say yes, or I'm mind and manifestation, or I'm all mind, or I'm, because if you're all mind right now, that's where you can get into your mind. So part of your work is, oh my gosh, all my numbers are in the mind, right? Which is a huge thing I got to get out of my mind. And I am one of those people. I have 2 numbers in the mind triad and 1 in the self-expression. So I know that I need to get out of it. And yet there's so much juice in the mind triad when we know how to, right, move out of that. So you're in a manifestation and in a self-expression. Yes, 2 in the manifestation and 1 in the mind. Okay, yay. The others, if you're watching or you knew, because Alicia, you weren't here, and I don't know if Dominique's still watching. If you are, this is great. So this is how. So what that is the mind triad. These people, so me, I'm comfortable with information. I love to analyze and solve it. Okay. And again, for anybody that's in the mind, okay, you don't get it because you didn't get the first part. So that's okay. When you watch the replay, and then you'll pick up on this. Okay. Because again, we're a little bit further. So what happens is, you're naturally intuitive, and you need to learn to switch off the inner analyst, okay? And Yasmilda will laugh because she knows me the most of all of you here. That's exactly it. When I can turn that off, I'm so tuned in, right? It's just, that's where we start to be like, oh my gosh, my soul wants me to, and my spirit wants me to, and my whole body needs me to, right? Then if you're manifestation triad, and I know you're laughing, I can hear you laughing, I can feel you laughing. So it's good, which is why I used you as an example for me. So the manifestation is, you have a patience and a discipline, right? You get things done, you overcome obstacles easily, or that is what it wants you to tune into. You're natural at implementing things. The key for you is to carve out time to play so that you are checking in with your feelings, because otherwise, if you don't, and you sit in the manifestation more, you could just be implementing, and wanting to manifest. And yet when you go through it, you're like, okay, I don't feel like I'm in my destiny, right? Like I really don't feel like I'm living out my destiny, because our soul and our spirit, again, we want to evolve. We want to live out more of our destiny, right? So then, as someone that has a self-expression, I have one of those. It's compassionate. It is emotionally engaged. It's social, right? Yes, you did come up with 2 numbers. I didn't come up with the 3rd. I didn't know how much time we were going to have. That's our destiny. So I'm going to give you the opportunity. If you want to chat with me and learn your destiny number, I'm going to give you that. It's just, you're in the mind and you're in the self-expression, but you're in person. I don't quite understand, as Dominique mentioned. That's okay. You're you. She's her. And yes, watch the replay, because that'll actually answer the other part of you. And then there's a 3rd one. Okay. So again, this is how we start to really see at a glance who we are. What are we destined to walk into here and hone in more and more and more? Now, again, I only gave you a little bit because there is so much in this, and I didn't know. I didn't know how many people were going to show up. I didn't know how engaging. I didn't want to take up too much time. And yet, there is a third number, the destiny number. So this one, it takes your birth certificate name. Okay, which is why we want to look at our birth certificate name, because when we change our name, and even if we change it because we get married, changes the vibration of who we are, right? And in that, we want to, okay, who are we? Where are we best suited to be at? And not that you don't want to change your name, and not that you're not supposed to change your name. It's just, are you resonating? Because your soul is still going to want to resonate with the number that you were given at birth, the name you were given at birth. It's how you're naturally destined to use your gifts, right? And I say to activate your divine mission, because that could be your career. That could be a vocation. It could be that you're a mother, because I don't want anyone to sit there and be like, okay, I'm retired. I put the work after life because I don't like the word retirement. There's a resonance in that. It's just, what am I now? Right? What is my vocation? What is my spirit wanting me to keep moving towards? What is that soul contract to keep helping in this visioning of who we are to pull us forward? Because in that, there is this resonance to your name. I'm going to exit the full screen. I wasn't sure if you can see what's behind that, but there's a higher frequency in that. And that's what, if you want to know more about that, it's say destiny, because then I'm going to talk to you afterwards and we can get into the destiny, because that's the third part of your own triad. So when you really start to play with that and you're like, oh, when you dance, and I'm sorry, I'm in the over here because Dominique, you're here. Look at, I have my wand. Anyway, this is one of them. This is my prince, my anyway, I'm just laughing. But anyway, I because I don't want to get into it too much. But anyway, I have a few wands. But really, when we get into this destiny number 2, and then you use it with your birth and your life purpose, all those 3 numbers are like this dance that literally vibrates in you, so that you continue to, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I want to be more. I want to know more. I want to do more. Right? So say destiny, and we'll talk about it afterwards, because again, I didn't know, and I'll give you a little bit at the end, because I have some slides after this, not knowing if we had a little bit of time. So we'll just go a little bit more. But really, I'm going to give you a gift, because what I'm going to do is, when and you'll have to do it in a way so that I go back and answer this, and you can just make it easy for me. Just put gift and whatever your life purpose number was. And if you were a double digit, then give me the double digit, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this little powerful, zesty sort of intention that you can use every day or for a while, until you can understand how to really happily engage in your life. Okay. I just made it simple, bit of an intention. So just again, put gift, because you're going to get it if you want it. If you don't want it, you don't have to have it. But who doesn't want gifts? Who doesn't want, just love presents? Who loves presents? And when they're wrapped in Tiffany blue, oh my God, who doesn't want a present? Anyway, and if you know what Tiffany blue is, well, then we really need to talk. But that's okay. That's okay. So put gift, put your thing. If that was for the birthday, oh no, this is just gift for all of it, right? The fact that you showed up, this is for your life purpose. So this was the one that you did see, that you did when you joined, Alicia. So this is the 11, and I'll know that it's a 2, and I'll know what to share with you. So I'm going to send you a beautiful life purpose number. So somebody was a 35 and an 8. Okay. Woo, 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 woo. So excited for you. So I'm going to, and there's 2 of you that didn't answer that. So you've either left, and there's a 5th person on number 5. You'll have to go back and watch the replay, because then this is really going to make sense to you. So the other 2, hello, thank you. Let's play yay, gift 6 and gift 11 too. Okay, perfect. I'm going to send you a gift. I'm so excited. Okay. Because I get excited because you're excited, and I already know your numbers. So I get to be like, oh my God, yes. And oh my gosh. And I know where you're up and when you're down. And again, it's a symphony. So you want to play with all of that. So I'm going to use, 15-6. What's the 15? 15 was the life purpose? Or did you go back to, what did you do there? Your destiny number. Because it's your birth certificate. No, you didn't do that. Where'd you come up with 15, please? Oh, because you were a double digit and you went down to 6. Is that the idea? Gotcha. I gotcha. Because I'm going to just share a little something, something. So as a 15, so again, every number, and again, this is how big this can get once you play with it. So 15, look at it as a 1 and a 5. So ultimately, it's you have this, you have a primal instinct, an impulse that comes, and it's an impulse for change, and it's an impulse for freedom. 5 is the versatility number. Those two numbers combined are known as the spiritual alchemist. Okay, 15 is the number of spiritual alchemy. So there's something so brilliant in that. But then when you merge it, which you did, to a 6, it's nurturing, it's compassion. So the fact that you do what you do, oh, now you're lost. Yes, you're 15. Okay, yeah, that's okay. I got it. Bear with me. I'm excited because you're here and you're listening and you're all excited. I know you are, not just that you're listening. It's just, so 15. So again, that's why when I look at all your numbers and I can just play with numbers, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I can do it from a sense of the day, right? So the day of the week, like today's June 1st, right? So let's just look at that for one quick second. You might feel I'm off on a tangent, and yet I'm not. I'm going to come back to, this is 6. June is a 6, right? So it's a day of compassion, of nurturing. Here we are, nurturing yourselves, which is beautiful. It's a 6 universal year, right? So June 1st, 2022, that's a 6, 2022. And here we are, 1. How are you nurturing yourself? Oh my God, so excited that you showed up. Now add all that together, because the 1 is the self, first of all, and it's also about new beginnings. Add all that up, it's a 13. 13 is the number of the divine feminine, right? Not that you knew that, but I knew that. It is the number of the divine feminine, which also hones down into 4, which means you're building a new foundation. You also have the capacity to observe things in a different way when you bring in the 4. 4 is the observer effect as well, right? It's also about the divine feminine. It's the 4 seasons, how we have how we can use the moons and cycle, all of this. So there's so much juicy information in the numbers, and why I love it, because I can hone into it and I can literally play with the numbers. So that's enough of my gift. I will add one little thing, because I know you're going to do destiny, but because you're here, basically what's going to happen is it's going to be all about the vibration of your name, because all of the numbers, all of the letters, excuse me, have a vibration. Your number has it, your letters have a vibration. We pull all that together so that you can then hone right in on it. And then there's also, when you get bigger and bigger with all this, numbers are curved, they're straight, they have combinations to them. All of that is like, oh my God, it can get this big. It is not meant for that. That's why I have somebody like me that can help you just hone in to what that is. And because I'll take you for 3 more minutes, I'm going to give an example of this. And the beautiful part is 2 of you here have this as your first letter of your name. So this is just a taste. You cheated and looked and how to calculate. That's okay. Doesn't matter. You can cheat and test and whatever. It doesn't even, there's more to this. So what happens is when you look at your name, right? Your own name has a vibration. The letter A, J, and S, they all actually, when in alignment, they vibrate the same thing. You're somebody that must stay active. Your mind is filled with ideas, and you need movement to fulfill your goals. And it's vital for your well-being to move. And that's moving and expressing in many different ways, right? You feel stimulated by a project, right? And you can go for it with boundless energy reserves once you're in the zone of that. You could probably start things quite easily, but do you complete them? Because when you do have that fullness and able to complete it, then you can step into that expression of leadership much more easily. You also, again, want to guard against being self-centered and arrogant and single-minded in your points of view, in how you approach things, so that you're not excluding others. So once you use the fullness of your name, then you then really get into understanding, oh my gosh, what was my birth certificate name to resonate more? And how do I then use my own name to, again, feel light, bring it up, right? Change your vibration all the time. So again, so much juice, so much there. I knew I would add those 2 slides just if there were people here that wanted to know, but all of it is there to motivate you, to inspire you more than motivate you. When you know who I am, I want you to come from that inspiration and really just dance with and play with the numbers. So that's it. You've already answered my questions. I will check back with you about destiny. I laugh because as a body resonance healer and because of the state of who I was and because I play with the numbers, I know that the universe gave me this beautiful ability to play with it and feel into it. And that's why even my body resonance sessions, I stream in the frequencies, right? I know how to pull them in and work with them. So love it. I'm glad you love it. That was all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to share this because it is something that I play with. And I will get back to you because if you want to know and get a little bit more of those words that really resonate, I'm happy to do that. So thank you for being here live. And for those of you that are going to watch replay. I'm always here to talk about this. It's a big part of what I love to do. So anyway, happy vibing to you and finding more of your natural rhythm and expanding on that. Okay. So take care. Love you guys.